And Saurabh Shukla is joining us from Washington, D.C. with more on this story. Saurabh, what specific concerns did the UNSC raise regarding Pakistan's role in the Pahalgam attack? And has Pakistan been diplomatically and strategically isolated as a consequence?
Well, absolutely. They've been trying very hard to internationalize the whole situation, whole standoff. And they were rebuffed not only at the Security Council, but at various other places here in Washington, D.C., where they've tried to cry foul and tried to raise this as a different narrative. Let me tell you that at the council meeting, which was an informal meeting because Pakistan is a non-permanent member there were members who raised this question and asked Pakistan point blank on Lashkar-e-Taiba's Pakistan connection, that how come this terror group, which is being housed in Pakistan, what do you have to say to that? They also made sure that they asked Pakistan that you are the country which is actually ratcheting up the rhetoric by military exercises, by missile tests, so you are actually escalating the situation. The third thing was a clear message to Pakistan that why is that a lot of these terror attacks have the Pakistani connections. The fourth thing was also cornering Pakistan on its entire dubious credentials. So Pakistan in some ways has been rebuffed, not only at the UN, but here in Washington, D.C. I want to add here that over the last couple of weeks, led by India's ambassador to the US here, Vinay Kwatra, India has been proactively seeking out to lawmakers, senior administration officials to make sure that Pakistan is isolated and Pakistan's double face is exposed. Yes. Because the other important point that was also raised at the UNSC was members telling Pakistan that why is that these innocent tourists were identified on the basis of a religion and then shot in cold blood. So all these are inferences.
Very clear messages.
Also, yes,
indeed, Saurabh, but what are the implications of the U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson's support for India's fight against terrorism? And do you see this affecting regional security dynamics to some extent?
Well, absolutely, Mark. As you know that Mike Johnson occupies a key position. He's not only the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, he's a very close ally of President Donald Trump, who has come very strongly, condemned this terror attack and has supported India's stand. So Mike Johnson coming out clearly sends out a message that there is a bipartisan support for India as a victim of terrorism perpetrated from Pakistan. And it's time that the world continues to isolate Pakistan. And the fact that Mike Johnson spoke out openly also goes on to say that in the coming weeks and coming days, you may see a bipartisan resolution also coming up in the US Congress, because the US, they have been time and again talking about the whole epicenter of terrorism being demolished, and there are enough and more people, including the administration and lawmakers here, who believe that Pakistan continues to be a epicenter of terrorism that not only poses threat to democracies like India, but also to democracies like the US as well.
And asking you to put on your analytical hat, what impact do you think these observations will have on Pakistan's foreign policy going forward?
Well, I can tell you that, coming from sources here, that the Pakistani diplomats are running for cover, so to say, if I have to sum it up, because obviously they wanted to isolate India. On the contrary, the questions are being asked from them, and India should continue to sustain these diplomatic efforts, because this is not only linked to India's fight against terror, but India is also fighting for every democracy across the globe which has been a victim of Pakistan-based terror groups. Why is that? In fact, one of the lawmakers, made this observation while I was talking to them informally. Why is that a Pakistani connection is there to every terror attack? Almost every terror attack across the globe has Pakistani connection, because the Pakistani government and the ISI have been perpetrating these terror attacks, and it's time that India not only sustains diplomatic pressure, but makes sure Pakistan's double game when it comes to supporting terror is exposed, and the perpetrators of Pahalgam terror attacks are brought to justice.
Saurabh Shukla, Prasar Bharati correspondent in Washington, D.C. Thanks very much.